Hi everybody, welcome back to the shop, and welcome back to another live stream here at EP3D Studios. I'm your host Matthew, and in front of me, behind you, is my producer wife Emily. Say hello.
Hello.
She's going to be doing all the editing and man in the chat and all that kind of stuff, so anything you have to say to me, she'll relay it to me, and any questions you have, I know.
Anything you say to Matt, you can say to me.
Right? It's always so awkward. It's always so awkward. One day I'll get the intro right. Fair warning to everybody that our 4-year-old happens to be home from daycare today, so you might hear some craziness in the background. We apologize for that. Didn't want to cancel the show because the show must go on. We're trying to stick to a very strict every Monday. We want to do this. So we have some more consistency with the channel. So she actually, Emily just went to go tell her to turn off her something. I don't know. She's, huh?
I did not.
I thought I heard some, I don't know. I'm hearing things. I'm always hearing things. Yeah, we're just, okay. So, we're gonna kind of hang out, let everybody kind of pour in here this first couple of minutes before we get going. One nice thing about the kid being home is that we could take a little bit longer in the stream. We're not bound to that exact hour, and I believe today we might have enough to show to take up a little bit of extra time. So, cheerio, hurrah! She's typing away.
We have Baron. Baron says hello to everyone. Hello to Drew and hello to me.
Hello, Drew. Hello, Baron. Thanks for coming.
Drew's here. He says, hey, Baron. We also have MMBB says hello from Germany.
MMBB, hello from Germany. Welcome to the show. I don't think we recognize your handle. We haven't seen you yet. You're new here. Welcome. We love newcomers. Come to the channel. Come hang out with us and enjoy this craziness. And we appreciate you taking time out of your evening or very early morning in Germany, because I know you guys are very far ahead of us in time. We really appreciate that. We actually get a fair amount of viewers from Europe that want to come stream with us. So we really do appreciate you taking your time out of your day to do that for us, with us.
And Kevin Buff is here. He says hi.
What's up, Kevin? Uh-oh. The stream just got
not to you, Kevin.
Super cute. Hey, Kevin. How are you doing? Thank you for joining. We appreciate it. You're now internet famous, kid. How about that?
Hi.
Hi.
So Kevin's here. He says hi.
Hey.
Let's see. We have Jonas Lade says hello. I need more memes.
It's okay, Jonas. We'll get you some more memes.
Let's see. Baron says, looks like I need to uninstall and reinstall Orca. Any STL load losses? Any STL I load loses the top layer. So bizarre. Interesting.
Have you tried setting up just a whole new filament profile and see if there's something wrong with that profile? Try that. If not, yeah, uninstall, reinstall Orca Slicer. If you do uninstall Orca Slicer, you're going to have to find it puts a folder in the app data, I think local or users folder, where it saves your profiles and stuff like that. So you'll have to delete that as well. But obviously back up any profiles you want to keep. So, yeah.
Jonas is watching from Cambodia.
Jonas is watching from Cambodia. Jonas Lade?
Yeah.
From Cambodia?
Watching from Cambodia.
Jonas, what are you doing in Cambodia? I know Jonas.
Are your viewers not allowed to go to other places?
I didn't know he was going on vacation.
Did you authorize it with Matt first, apparently, Jonas?
Unless there's another Jonas Lade that just happens to be from Cambodia, that happens to have the same name as the Jonas Lade that I know.
Jeez.
Whatever. Welcome, Jonas, from Cambodia.
Baron says, at Jonas, challenge accepted. I think I might have missed something here. I'm lost. Oh, with the memes. Okay, I got it. Now I'm back on track. Okay, I'm still drinking my coffee here, guys. So
right.
Forgive me.
For the Discord, I put a link to the Discord. Baron and...
Drew says, congrats on all the Discord traffic.
Yeah. Baron and someone named Christian helped me get a permalink how we find a permalink for Discord. And man, that has been going swell. I started that about a week ago, and there's like 40-something people already in there. So excellent. We love it. Keep it going on the Discord. I kind of waited and was lazy about it because Discord confused me. But really good tool. I wish I had done it sooner, but no big deal. Kiddo,
I'm coming back. Hold on.
Nope, she's fine. They ran off.
Okay,
Yeah.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming. Let's see. Oh, Ricardo's here.
What's up, Ricardo?
Says, hello,
Welcome.
guys. How are you doing today?
We're doing great. How are you?
Thank you for coming by, Ricardo. I don't know if we saw you last week. We missed
I
you.
don't remember. I think, yeah, he was missing last week.
Yeah.
So, but we appreciate you coming by.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Hey, kiddo. Hi.
And that catches us up. Sorry for the little intruder here.
No, it's okay.
Christian sends 3 waving hands.
What's up, Christian? I think you're the Christian that helped me get Discord going. We really appreciate it. That was super helpful. You've been crazy helpful with all that. So we owe you big time. But on the Discord, there is a channel, server, topic, whatever they called it, of memes. Share them. So if you have memes, share them. We love memes around here. Memes are fun. Keep it.
Set up any rules?
So I talked to Christian about that yesterday on how to set up rules.
Oh,
and
we have
stuff like
another
that.
intruder. Look at that.
Hey, buddy.
Intruders are us today.
This is Muffins. Hi, Muffins. Say hi.
Muffins, short for stud muffins.
Stud Muffins.
Because he's purdy.
Yeah, purdy. Wow. Wow. Add that to the memes. Yes, so I gotta go through and read. There's a whole lot of options for that kind of stuff for
But
moderation
I mean,
and
like,
whatnot.
you said just go ahead and send memes. Should we set any rules? Like maybe nothing political, nothing...
Let's stay out of politics. Let's stay out of, keep it family friendly, for the most part.
For the most part.
Yeah.
Like PG-13?
PG-13, yeah.
Rated R? How far are you willing to go there?
I mean, somewhere between Nickelodeon and HBO after 2 a.m. I don't know.
Adult Swim?
Sure.
Oh, gosh.
Oh my goodness, that was bad.
Christian's just laughing. Drew says, what is happening here today? Sorry, you guys.
Yes, it is. Today's chaos. This is a chaos stream. So she's getting into something.
What are we doing?
I don't know. But
Baron says the whole family into house.
the whole family. Well, we're still missing a couple of pets. They're hanging out though. You want that chair? My goodness. Oh, so our director is getting her special director's chair. I'm bleeding. That's what's going on. I'm sorry, everyone.
Okay.
Yep. I'm like, what is that feeling?
Well, don't
I know.
flash it to everybody.
I'm not. My skin is angry
No.
today.
Okay, it's one of those days, y'all.
It is
We're
one of
here.
those days.
We're going.
Right, we're gonna get to this. For those of you who may be new, we apologize.
Give
This
that
isn't
to Dad.
standard procedure.
Normally we're not just, bleeding all over the place.
Yeah.
People coming and going.
My
This
skin
is,
has been angry lately. So
Anyway.
no big deal. No big
Anyway.
deal. Any potato.
Baron says Robot Chicken for the win.
I love Robot Chicken. That's a great show.
Drew says the ratings are different in Canada, so I guess whatever rating you choose, Drew's just going to obliterate it.
Fair enough. I think in Canada they're a little less modest than they are here. Yeah, you found a fuzz. You found a cat fuzz, huh? Probably a piece of sweetie. This is very fluffy. But the plan for today is we're going to do a little SolidWorks, kind of a beginner's guide, start from the absolute scratch. If you're brand new to 3D CAD, we're going to explain how it works, what it does, and we're going to design a part or attempt to design a part today. And that part is going to be a spool holder that I'm going to put on the Sidewinder X2. And it's going to be basically the same as what I have on the X1 there, but we're going to do it from scratch and basically copy this design, but it's going to screw in to the screws there on the
So
case
Baron's
of the
letting you
X2.
know that you just raised your stream rating to PG-13
Okay.
because of the blood.
Did I? Oh no.
He didn't say that directly. He says blood automatically raises the rating to PG-13.
Oh no. Man, YouTube's going to permaban me now.
Plan? Matt, need a sticking plan?
Yeah.
Matt need no sticking plan. Gosh, Ben,
Matt need no sticking
cannot.
plan.
I cannot read today. That is
It's
the second
Monday.
time I've just obliterated something that you've written. I'm sorry.
Well, you know, nobody's perfect. Yeah. Director and producer back there. It's too cute. So let's start. First things first is before we open SolidWorks, if you have it already, you can follow along. If you don't have it, I've put a link in the video description of my video about the maker's version of SolidWorks and how to install it. Because the installation process is a little bit weird and annoying, but follow the video, you should get through it. The SolidWorks for Makers website has actually gotten much better over the last couple of years as far as explaining things and being a little easier to navigate. It's still not perfect, they still have a lot of work to do, but it is significantly better than when I got started. But I'm going to show you how to set up the UI, how I like it. That way it's easier for you all to follow along, and as you get more familiar with the software, you can change things how you want to fit your workflow. But I do recommend starting out with how I have it set up for the ease of following along. So the easiest way to reset all your settings in SolidWorks is that you just delete the settings out of the registry, out of the Windows registry, or rename them or whatever. So, she's stepping away.
Just keep talking to your people.
I was going to show them on screen on what to do here.
Okay, give me 2 seconds.
Are you getting a taller chair for her?
I am.
The little Tyke's chair is just not cutting it, huh?
I feel like she went, oh, that's not going to work. I feel like we went from
We'll grab
that chair being too small to being from too large to too small within like 2 seconds.
Very quickly, yeah. She used to not fit on those little Tyke chairs, and now she's just way too big for them. They grow.
Watch out.
It's weird. You keep feeding them, and they keep growing.
It's working for you too.
No.
It's the wrong direction. Okay.
I do a pretty good truffle shuffle.
Here, sweetie, come on over.
Go over there. Mom's got your director's chair. There we go. Sorry, everyone.
Okay. Drew says the install for SolidWorks was horrible.
Yes, not the best. But here's the thing. SolidWorks or Dassault systems usually works with, like, you know, big corporate industries and stuff like that. They're not typically, they don't work with individual users. So when it comes to industries that do a lot of CAD design and they use things like SolidWorks, they have a department, an IT department that is specifically just for keeping their system integration for their software ready. And it's outside of their network IT. They have IT for the networking and stuff like that, and then they have a specific IT department for their software. So you see it with Autodesk, with Inventor, and some Fusion stuff. And in the SolidWorks, it's a big thing. And so the company is used to dealing with people that are very familiar with a convoluted process. And so they need to kind of get out of that mindset and figure out, yes, we are making a piece of software that we want to advertise to makers, so they need to make it easier for makers. And they're slowly doing it. But as with anything, it's a slow process, especially when it comes to corporate stuff. It can be very painfully slow. But there is a lot of information and videos out there slowly working their way out to the internet to make it easier. So that's that.
Baron, you wrote stinking. I wrote sticking. I worded. I worded.
Hi, here at EP3D, we don't word good.
We just don't word. You wrote the right thing. I read the wrong thing twice. It's me. It's me.
Right.
Let's see. Marcel is with us. Says cat design.
Heck yeah, hey Marcel, it's been a while.
Your ability to keep a straight face while he was walking around in front of you was just phenomenal. Like, best acting. Best acting ever.
Oh, hey, sweetie. Please not on the carpet. Come on.
Extra Emmy says hello.
Hello, Extra Emmy. Welcome to the show. Glad to have you here.
Yeah, sorry. I don't think we've seen you before. If this is your first show, it's not usually as crazy as it is today.
This has been 15 minutes of chaos.
Come visit us next week. It'll be better.
Maybe. Yeah, we'll see.
It'll be better.
We'll probably continue on the SolidWorks stuff because there's plenty to teach. It's a very, very large, very powerful piece of software. And I'm learning. I mean, I learned something last night that was like things I struggled with, and I learned how to fix it last night, and my mind just went. And then I realized I have about 10 to 15 hours of work to fix something I've been working on so it fits. Yeah, lots to learn. So
Slowly, carefully.
man.
Okay, ready?
All right. Yes, to the screen. We're going to go to our registry editor. One thing is this SolidWorks is only works on Windows. If you're a Mac person, sorry. Get a
Sorry, it
Windows
was
machine.
very disgenuine.
Well, I mean, it was genuine. I'm just not a Mac person. I've been a PC person. So, in your registry, you go to, it is H key current user, software, scroll down to SolidWorks. And right here, I'm on version 2024. If you get the maker's version, you'll get the most up-to-date version of SolidWorks. That is the nice thing about the whole 3D experience platform, is you get software updates immediately, like when they come out, which is kind of nice. So what I'm just going to do is just rename this or delete it. You could delete it, whatever. So just underscore old.
Glenn Wojcicki says hi.
What's up, Glenn? Thank you for showing up.
Thank you for coming.
Heck yeah. I think I've chatted with him. He might have ordered a part off the website. I don't remember. Why my nose is itchy today. Ah, sorry, everyone.
Hi, Glenn, Zoe says.
Hi, Glenn. So,
Drew says the Mac comment was totally aimed at me, Emily. Aha. Were you doing a solid burn at poor Drew?
no.
Okay.
Unless I might subconsciously just give solid burns to Canadians because it's like a hobby of mine. Because, blame Canada, right? Oh. So, if you ever are messing with your UI settings and you kind of get off the rails and something happens and you can't figure out how to fix it, you could always go back in here and just delete this file or change its name. And then when you reopen the software, it creates a new folder in here and it resets all your settings back to factory defaults.
It's quite all right, because we're apparently off the rails here today, too.
We need to reset to factory defaults.
For real.
Right, so I'm going to open SolidWorks. You can get I managed to get a shortcut to work, but I will show you the way they want it to happen is you get a little system tray icon for your 3D Experience launcher, and it should bring you up to your 3D Experience website. Now, if you Google 3D Experience SolidWorks and you go to that website, it will look nearly identical to this, but you will not be able to get to your 3D Experience platform or your SolidWorks installation from there. This creates a specific user website for you and it is attached to your account. So
THRL dropped by, says hello.
hello, THRL.
THRL.
What does that stand for? That's an acronym for something, I'm sure. But hello, welcome. We don't recognize your name. Welcome to the show. If you're new here and you haven't chatted before, or if you're not new and you haven't chatted, thanks for chatting. If you're new here, welcome.
I like that we're getting all these people we haven't seen before coming in to the show. That's the most
It's like
off the
chaos,
rails. Glenn says, still waiting on the config files for X1. I'm assuming you probably promised some other files to other people. See, Drew, it's not just you.
Maybe, I don't know. Man, I've got a million people asking me for things and I lose track.
What he means to say more nicely is please,
I'm sorry.
Glenn, if you don't mind following back up with us
Yes.
and sending us some, however you'd like to message us, sending us a Facebook message, we will try to get those out to you.
Yes. So, yes. So, and this, you get a link to this when you purchase the software, you get emailed a link, and it is a link to this website. Do not delete that email, because that is the only way to get to it. If you delete that email, I don't know how to get back to it. I think you have to cancel your subscription somehow and repurchase it.
But you could reach out to a customer service. And
maybe, yeah, you could probably email them or something like that.
It twice.
Yeah. So don't delete that email. Save it somewhere important. Save the link, whatever. But yeah, from here, they actually have a decent little video on how to install it, which if you follow it, you'll do okay. And they've added all sorts of new stuff, tips, tricks, kind of tutorial stuff to help you get through the beginning stages of what you get. But over here is your roles, apps, whatever. I just call it the tire icon, the play icon. And it comes up with what you have, your roles. And you go to 3D Experience, SolidWorks Professional, and then SolidWorks Connected. And this will open it.
Man, you got her too. You got her too.
Oh no.
You got everybody. Let's see. Gilbert Petruco.
Hello, Gilbert.
How we pronounce that? Says, "Hey, Matt and producer wife. Hope you're both doing well."
We're doing great. I hope you're doing well. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for dropping by. And THRL says, "I was here before the last 2 live streams.
Okay.
I have a stock X2.
Oh, nice.
So you know this isn't our norm at least, which is good.
It's only about 95% of our norm.
Yeah, that's fair.
We're just a little off.
This is real life us. This is the real life us. We've been telling you live stream us is real life us. It's not. This is us.
Right. So it takes a second to start up, but when it does, you get a little welcome thing, and then you get the 3D Experience integration. So you have to be online for it to work, but there is a way to open it offline. You could set it up to do that. I've never done that because everywhere I go, I have internet access. So.
Wow.
I know.
First you're hitting on Macs, now you're bragging about how you get internet everywhere.
Because your phone can be a hotspot anywhere.
No.
Well, anywhere there's phone reception. So, I mean, if you live in rural Kentucky, maybe not. Sorry.
Now you're hating on Kentucky. You just threw out shade to Mac users and can't. Man, you
we're
are on a
having
roll
an
today.
off day. We're having an off day. Either way. So you get this window, accept all cookies. Otherwise, things won't function in your 3D Experience stuff. And you just click away, and that goes away. And that welcome screen will go away. There's a little tick box. I closed it too early. You can tell it to not show up again. So we need to set up our interface. First things first, let's open up a new part file so we have all our interface options available. So just click on here, new part, okay. Now, I went through yesterday, actually last night, I went for about an hour and a half. I read through all of the options to make sure I got everything right, and I took some notes here. What I have set up is not too far, not too different from this. But there's just some quality of life things that I change on here. So first, in this blank area, right click and click on customize. What's up?
Extreme Emmy says, "Rip Mac users in Kentucky," and I agree. The moment you mentioned that Kentucky thing, we saw a dip in the people watching here.
Oh, no.
So you insulted somebody.
I lost Kentucky.
You lost Kentucky Mac users.
Oh man,
they're done. Especially if they came from Canada.
Oh,
if they're from Canada and they're now in Kentucky and they use the Mac, they are done.
Kentuckians, wow.
Gilbert says, "Doing well, thanks. I've never used SolidWorks, but I've been trying to learn Fusion 360. Do you use Fusion as well, or just SolidWorks?"
I do use Fusion as well. We have it at work, and that's connected to our CNC router at work. I started using SolidWorks before Fusion was ever a thing. Actually, my first introduction to 3D CAD was Autodesk Inventor, and Fusion was kind of a spin-off of that to create a 3D CAD program for the maker space, because Inventor is more of a professional program. It's a direct competitor to SolidWorks.
Okay.
Jeez, okay. Sorry, everyone. The child is speaking. So yeah, and right, and so the first iteration of the maker's version of Fusion was very good as far as like being catered to the makerspace, but they put up a lot of features behind a paywall as the software developed and stuff like that, and so the maker's version lost a lot of capabilities when they added a paywall, and it's kind of annoying, and it's expensive. It's $600 or $700 a year, which technically for professional 3D CAD that's cheap. But I wouldn't put it at the same professional level as, say, SolidWorks or Inventor or CATIA or Pro Engineer, the NX Cam or Siemens NX. There's a lot of different types of this kind of software, but for the most part, SolidWorks is going to be the industry leader. Most most people are learning this stuff in engineering school, and SolidWorks is what the professionals like to use. And it is now available for makers for a very reasonable cost. I looked today, it's $48 a year now in the US, which is super cheap for what you get.
So Drew answered the question a little bit more simplicity and said Fusion is fine. Just have noticed that the free version is becoming more and more limited.
Yeah, where the maker's version of this is still extremely capable. The only thing you really lose is some third-party plugin integration, and it watermarks your files. But as far as the feature set goes, it is identical to SolidWorks Professional, which costs like $6,000 or $7,000. So for $48 a year, it's not bad. Back to our interface. Right-click. We'll get out of here. Right-click on this blank space in your command manager. Click on Customize, and under the Toolbars tab, Quick Access Tools, I want to show in the menu bar. And all this does is it moves, you have your home, save, all this stuff, it just moves this up here to give us a little bit more space in our command manager, and I want to separate this from the command manager. So that just moves it, which is nice.
Gilbert says, just saw that as well. $48 definitely makes my noggin turn. I might just switch to SolidWorks.
Right. And what you get with it, you're not only getting SolidWorks, you're getting SolidWorks Visualize, which is a 3D rendering software, and it is super cool. You could do animations, all sorts of crazy stuff. It is unbelievably cool, and it's crazy capable, and I know about this much of it, and I've done some photo renderings of some of my products and designs that turn out fantastic. I love it. And they updated it this year, and it runs so much better. It used to be really hard to run. You needed a supercomputer to run it, but now they've really improved the performance, which is nice. So now my laptop doesn't have any issues with it. Before, if I wanted to use it, I'd have to use my PC, which 16 core processor, and it still kind of like struggled, but now it's way better. So yeah, the show quick access in the menu bar. For our toolbars here, I want to enable blocks. Blocks, there we go. The selection filter, and I'll show you how to use this stuff as we go along. And
Stream or Extra Emmy says it's also $24 a year for aviation geeks like me through EAA membership.
Yep.
That's cool.
Which is super cool. I'm an aviation geek too, so I've been working, that's my day job, is aviation stuff. So also enable tools, and it kind of, we're going to take this, when we're done with here, over to mouse gestures. This is actually more of a personal preference thing, how you want to set this up for getting things done quickly. I'm not going to mess with that quite yet. I'll show you where all the menus and stuff are before getting into these shortcuts. So that is that.
THRL says, so far I only tried Solid Edge and using Fusion 360 for hobby projects.
Perfect.
But I use mostly Cinema 4D when I do my modeling work.
Ooh, there we go. Now Cinema 4D, that's more like Blender, like a super capable kind of Blender and animations and stuff, I think. Who makes that? Is it Maxon? I think Maxon makes that.
Hang on, I'm not done yet.
Okay.
Chill, man.
I'm chilling.
Gilbert asks, what CPU and GPU does your laptop have? I have an i7 11800 with an RTX 3060. Would that be enough?
You're doing just fine, yeah. This has got an AMD, it's a Ryzen like 4800H, and it's got a GTX 1660 Ti. So your graphics processor is a couple of levels of magnitude faster than this. Processor-wise, comparable, I guess. The Ryzen laptop processors are pretty quick.
Do you notice the difference between your Ryzen and your computer, your desktop?
Yeah, so that thing has the same processing cores. It's the same generation of Ryzen processor, but this is a 65 watt system, and that's got it's like 105 or so. It has more. It can draw more power, so it can run at higher clock speeds. One thing about CAD software, and this is all CAD software across the board, is it is a single threaded program. So whether you have a dual core or a 2000 core CPU, those extra cores aren't helping you. It runs off of one thread. With CAD, a lot of the Intel processors that run super, super high clock speeds and have super good IPCs, those will tend to run CAD a little better. Unless you get some of the really, really high-end AMD stuff that has really good IPC counts, but that gets kind of expensive. The newer Intel stuff coming out has been pretty good for this. So yeah, you're with an 11 series Intel and a 3060, you'll be just fine. The software isn't too heavy, but it also ain't going to run on Potato, so it's kind of middle of the round.
A potato.
Yeah.
Teacher also says, yeah, Maxon.
Maxon, yeah, that's the company that makes Cinema 4D. So I add those toolbars, and I'm going to move them. First, the blocks here. You could take all these things and kind of drag them around and set up your interface essentially how you want it to look, which is really cool. It's super customizable. Move all this down here so I have more open space here. Snack time. Next, we're going to go to our settings, which is this gear icon here, our options. And we're going to start out in the sketch area. We want to... You okay, kiddo?
It's okay, I got my coffee.
All right. You want to highlight or enable use fully defined sketches. And this will force you to have to fully define your sketches, which you can make stuff and not define your sketches, but you want to fully define things. Otherwise, you can run into some geometric problems. What happened, kiddo? No, you pulled a mommy, you're choking on air? Okay. We went to over here, enable on-screen numeric input for entry creation. This is for dimensioning. And you want to create dimensions only when value is entered. All right, and then the next one, display. We're almost done with this here. Display temporary, all right, here, yep. Display temporary axis upon hover over cylindrical faces. It's just a nice quality of life thing. In assemblies, we want to save new components to external files.
In regards to all that laptop stuff, Drew says it's part of the reason I'm looking for an Intel machine for my newer PC.
Feature manager. I like to disable scroll selected item into view. We're not going to really see any of this today. This is more in assemblies, and when you have a gazillion parts in an assembly, or you have a bunch of sub-assemblies and you click on a part, it will open up your assembly tree down to that component, and it's kind of annoying because I don't like my assembly tree being busy. If I want to find the part, I'll find it manually. And part of that is being very organized. Right from the start. Be organized from the start because it makes it easier in the long run. And then for view, the view tab, I want reverse mouse wheel zoom direction. What this is just when you zoom, you use your mouse wheel. And for some reason, the default is when you roll the mouse forward, it zooms out, which is backwards to any other software I've ever used. But you could reverse that here. So when you roll the mouse forward, it zooms in. Roll the mouse back, it zooms out. Okay. And that is it for settings. Yours should look exactly how I use mine every day. Next, if we're going to start a file.
Dumb question.
Yeah.
My dumb question.
Sure.
Not any of their dumb questions. Their questions are good questions.
Did you just call
Mine are dumb questions.
Not your dumb questions, their dumb questions, right?
No, I said their questions are good questions.
Okay.
My questions are dumb questions.
Okay.
Just because, people like me exist. They can make it work, not setting up exactly how you set it up. Yeah.
Yes, you can absolutely make it work.
Because you just said that theirs should look exactly like yours.
If you do what I just did, it should look exactly like mine.
But if it doesn't, that's totally okay.
It's totally okay, but it might be hard to follow along. And if you go through and you're learning this and you want to set it up a little different as you get more familiar with it, absolutely do that. But like I said, the reason why I say set it up like mine, it's easier to follow. And then as you become more familiar, you can change it to however you like to work with your workflow, because it's not, there's not one single workflow that works. Everyone's different, and the software has the ability to set it up and use it to cater to hundreds, thousands of different workflows, just however you want to use it. So the next thing is when you open up a new part, you got to set up your document properties, right? And there's certain things that, you know, like if you're drawing in metric every single time, set up a template, and that's what I'm going to do here. So on the bottom right of our part, you have your wow, I'm drawing a huge blank.
What?
Your units, right? I want to use millimeters, and you click on it again, edit document units, and this brings up your document properties. And I want my length to be up to, your length measurement dimensions to be 4 digits past the decimal point. And then for dual dimension, same thing, 4 digits past the decimal point. Okay. Last but not least, view orientation. SolidWorks defaults to having Y as up. Very strange, but that's how they default it. So if you go into our view orientation here, that's kind of tricky. Click on the little arrow, and you will see here, up axis flyout. We want to apply Z up views. Yes, it's going to rotate it around. Now Z is up. And then it helps, you can now change the names of your default planes. So like this is not going to be the top plane anymore. I believe that'll be our right plane. That'll be our top plane, and that'll be our left plane. So we'll start here.
While you're changing those, curious, Drew mentioned that Drew and Baron are talking computers, and Drew mentions that he runs CAD programs all day, and some don't like AMD as much. I know you're a big fan of AMD, so have you experienced issues with AMD running CAD?
I've not experienced any issues. The new AMD stuff has gotten much better. They've become very competitive in the CAD market as they've increased their IPC stuff. If you're using old AMD stuff, yeah, it can be glitchy, it can be kind of slow. New AMD stuff, the new Ryzen stuff, you know, Ryzen Series 3 and up has been really solid. So this is our left plane.
It's about to get loud with snack time, y'all. Sorry.
Rename.
Hopefully you can't hear our little one
Left
sitting here eating.
Plane. Rename. Right plane. Rename. Top plane. Okay. Now we're set up. What I want to do is save this as a template. So I'll keep this pinned so that's always up there. I don't like menus going in and out of view if they don't have to. Save to this PC, and that's another thing is you don't have to work off of the cloud. You could work off of the PC, off of your Windows folder or an external hard drive, or I use a Google Drive for my cloud storage because the actual 3D Experience Cloud is, I'm not a fan. It's really slow and it's kind of confusing. So you go down here to save as type, and you want to find template. And it's in here somewhere.
Drew says he also is running industry-specific software, generally spec Intel only.
Yes, and sometimes that happens. Where is my template? It's in this huge list. You have a ton of file options. Part templates right there. And it will automatically go to your template folder. And we're just going to name this part, M-E-T-R-I-C, metric, save. Now, if we close that and we go File, Open New, and this window here, click on Advanced, and now these are our templates. So now part metric is a template. Open. So now we don't have to go through and do any of that. It's all pre-done for us. You're just hearing crunching in the background, right? So 40 minutes in and we're just crunching away. So for those of you who aren't familiar with 3D CAD, this particular type of 3D CAD is called a parametric modeling or parametric solid modeling. And all that means is that you're using dimensions and relations or constraints to define your geometry. So for you AutoCAD users out there, if you're very familiar with AutoCAD, it is kind of backwards to that. In AutoCAD, your geometry drives the dimensions. So if you want a line that's, 300 millimeters long, you have to type in that command L, enter 300, or what, at whatever angle you want it to be, or use the mouse to tell you where it is. Enter 300 millimeters, enter, and then if you add a dimension to that, it tells you this is 300 millimeters long. You can't change that dimension unless you change the line length. In a parametric modeling software, it's backwards. You use your dimensions to drive your geometry. So you draw a line, give it a dimension, and then you tell that, you highlight the number of that dimension and you say, hey, I want this 300 millimeters. Bam, it makes that line 300 millimeters. And it's a way of using relations and all that to drive everything. It's a smarter way of doing things. It works, the way AutoCAD does it works because it's generally 2D drafting and stuff like that. The 3D AutoCAD I don't touch. It's confusing. So.
Sorry.
It's the cuteness over the crunchy cuteness. Sorry, everyone.
We think it's cute. Everybody else is like, oh my
goodness,
gosh.
this is the cringiest how-to ever. This is the family how-to. Okay, so let's get started. And we're going to start simple with a simple part, which is that spool holder there. I tried to prepare and get a sketch of it, but I didn't have time to do that. But we want to start with where this thing is going to sit in space. And I like using a lot of reference sketches. That is my workflow. And that's coming from AutoCAD, where everything is sketch-based, really. I kind of have a lot of that mindset where I use a lot of reference sketches, because that's just how it works for me. So we're going to start out and we're going to go to the top plane. We're going to click on it here. And you see this little icon pop up, sketch. And it's going to bring us to a sketch environment.
You guys didn't hear the crunching? You kidding me?
Wow. Wow. Super loud. And typically we want to start on, have a part of your part being fixed to the origin, the 0, 0, 0 in 3D space, just so it's not floating around. We want it to be constrained to the origin. And so what I'm going to do is, I believe what I want to do is one of the screw holes I'm going to have be constrained to this. So I'm going to start with a center line.
Oh, Drew heard it. Okay.
Okay. Go over to line, click on the drop down, center line. Center line. And then there's two ways to draw lines. You could click once, click and let go, and you can kind of drag your line around here, and it will snap at 45-degree angles, right? So we're going to cruise over to the left, and I want this to be 20 millimeters because the whole distance is 20 millimeters. And since our units are already in millimeters, I don't have to tell it is millimeters, right? And then you can keep on going if you want to, but I don't. So right click and click on select. Now, if you just wanted to do one line, you can do that by left clicking, holding, dragging, and letting go. And then you have your check and X here or over here, accept it, and you're done. I don't want that line there, so I'm going to delete it. So click on it and click on delete. If you ever get to the point where something's goofy and confused, you can just spam the escape key to get you back to home level here.
Spam.
Yep, just AutoCAD users know that escape key is your friend. Ask Drew.
Mm-hmm. Sorry. Okay.
So our line here, it is fully defined, which means so all the points and lines are shaded black, which means it's fully defined. If you have a line that is not fully defined, it will be blue, right? The points that are not fully defined and the lines that are not fully defined will be blue. So they can be moved around. There's nothing tying them to anything, and the only tie it has is to that point. So.
Drew wants to know if you can make that into Canadian measurements. That's not exactly what he said, but...
It's 20 millimeters. It's Canadian measurements.
Oh. So he says, can you put something like 20 Looks like he's got inches.
Inches? Yes, you can. So
20 inches in an mm document, and it would convert it to 20.
Yes.
Convert the 20 into millimeters.
Yes, I'll show you how to do that. So let's do another line. And we'll go up this way and say we'll do 5 inches. So type 5, IN for inches. And it does the math for you.
says, it would be difficult for me to change after spent 15 years in team Y is up.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you could do Y up all you want and then reorient it in your slicer. This is just, for 3D printing, all the 3D printer slicer software uses Z up, so I just changed my view orientation to Z up. But Drew, you saw there I typed in 5 and then IN, or you could use the quotation thing, the inch thing, and then it will draw it 5 inches and then give it a millimeter or a metric dimension of 127 millimeters, which is 5 inches. So yes, and it does math for you too. This item has associated dimensions, which have, yes, delete the dimension.
I like things that do math for me.
Right? Yeah, it's super cool, right? So say you're working with kind of a weird irrational number, you want to do half of a dimension and you don't know, you want this line to be half of 63.725 millimeters, but you don't want to do that math in your head, so you just write 63.725 and then divided by 2, and it does the math for you, right? Super convenient in that aspect.
Drew says, awesome. Thanks, Matt. Fusion can do that. And Jay Who says, yo, what up, peeps?
What's up, Jay Who? How's it going? Thank you for joining the stream. It's good to see you. Welcome. Hopefully you can learn some stuff with us today. Yeah.
Joseph Burke says, hey, Matt and Emily and chat here with my brother Ray.
Hey.
Is that Ray? Like,
Ray?
Like East Coast Ray? Like our buddy?
East Coast Ray. I just call him Ray Ray. Ray. Welcome, Joseph Burke. Ray 2.0.
Sorry. And Jay Who says, I wish I would have paid more attention in high school when they were trying to teach me this stuff.
Oh, yeah. Some people didn't, some people did. It was an option. It was an elective for me in high school to do AutoCAD, and I did it for all 4 years of high school. It was amazing. So.
It is Ray. East Coast Ray. Mr. Hey Ray.
Hey Ray.
Well, welcome, Joseph.
Welcome, Joseph.
And thanks for coming, Ray. Mm-hmm. Through your brother. Mm-hmm. That's awesome.
Yep. Things here, these little squares with these symbols and the green squares, these are relations, as they're called, or constraints if you're used to the Autodesk software. Same difference. I don't like showing those if I don't have to, because if you get into a sketch that gets a little bit more complicated, you just get overrun with this stuff and it's annoying. So up on your heads up display here, you have this little eyeball. Click on the arrow, and right here, view sketch relations, undo it so they're not visible. They're still there, they're just not showing, and you can turn that on and off as you want to.
Jay Who says Rays are normally good dudes.
Right. Now, one thing, I am doing this on, well, that'll be fine. It is a horizontal plane to the z-axis, which is fine. So this sketch is only going to be this one sketch is going to locate my holes. What are you two doing?
She's tickling me.
Zoe, come on. All right. Another thing I recommend outside of tickling is keep your sketches simple. Don't try to overcomplicate them. I would rather have 3 sketches, 3 simple sketches instead of 1 complicated sketch to do the same thing. And that helps me. Too silly.
Pause.
Pause.
Everybody pause. Gilbert did a super chat.
Oh, thank you, Gilbert.
Just a small thanks for always being super helpful. I call on everyone to hit the like button so the stream reaches more people. Thank you so much, Gilbert. Thank you. You did not have to do that, but we appreciate y'all just coming here and hanging out with us. We appreciate y'all.
Yes, we definitely, I'm distracted over here. We definitely appreciate it, Gilbert, and all of you. it means a lot to us that you would be willing to take your time and spend some money on us.
Absolutely.
On this chaos.
This is definitely chaos. Sorry,
Right.
and please don't tickle your. No, don't. Matt does not suggest tickling. Don't tickle your drawings.
Don't tickle your drawings.
It's a quick way to an HR violation.
Oh, whoa, got weird
Hey.
fast.
Jay, who says looks a lot easier than x-axis and y-axis? Sorry. It looks a lot easier than x-axis and y-axis. Yeah, I read that right.
I'm not following. Well, I mean, we're sketching on a 2D plane. I'm sorry, I'm not following you, Jehu, on exactly what you're saying. I apologize.
I think if yeah. No, it was THRL who's the usual Y is up guy.
Yeah. I guess if he's an XY, you know, on a 2D plane, Y up, X right, right? But then that Z-axis is your third dimension, right? I think that's what it's going for. Okay.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. To continue with the sketch, we want to define where this kind of is on the printer, on the machine. And I know that the frame of the, or the shell of the machine sticks out from the edge of the extrusion, and I got to get that measurement real quick. I didn't get that beforehand. So, with my handy dandy over
Jay says that's all I remember from AutoCAD.
yes, X and Y axes, yep. 1.7 millimeters is our distance. All right, so we want to draw a rectangle, and we want to make sure that the edge of our frame reference, our machine reference, is going to be 1.7 millimeters from the edge of our extrusion. Huh?
Hey.
You want what?
Mama was calling me.
Mama was getting you? She's calling you?
No, she's crying.
Clawing you? Is she tickling you back?
Yeah.
Oh boy, well, that's what happens when you give her tickles. She'll tickle you back.
Payback.
Right, payback. So let's figure out where our extrusion is underneath here. We're going to do ourselves a little rectangle. And we're just going to put it in space here, and we're going to give it some dimensions. We know our extrusion is 20 millimeters wide. Here I am using shortcuts. Smart dimension to add dimension. We're going to give that a dimension of 20 millimeters, and we're going to give this a basic length of, like, I don't know, 50. Right. And we want to move this, so, no, it's not 20, it's 40 millimeters. I'm silly. 40 millimeters. All right. And we want to constrain this sketch to where this is. You'll see. First of all, it's going to be centered from there, so 25 millimeters centers it. And then we know the extrusion is 10 millimeters from the edge, from the center of the hole.
So I have maybe another dumb question.
Yes.
What are you drawing? Like, to me, you're just drawing a bunch of lines. Like, where are these lines are you gonna tell us what these lines are going to be eventually, or do we know what your lines are, or are we just kind of...
Yes. So I'm drawing
Let me switch back over so you can show them what you're drawing.
Okay. I'm going to use this as a reference. So I'm drawing reference lines and sketches to start building some geometry for essentially something like this that will screw to where the screws are here on the Sidewinder X2. It's going to be essentially just like the one on my X1, right? We're redoing that for the most part. And actually I should make, yeah. So that is what we're drawing. And so we're starting out with some reference sketches so we kind of know where to build from.
So those holes you're drawing, are those on the, like, your printer holes? Are those the holes that are going to hold it to your printer?
So the holes are already in the printer. They're two screws that hold the shell to the frame. And it's threaded into, there's a 40 by 40 millimeter aluminum extrusion inside here. That's the bottom frame of the machine. And so we're locating those holes. We're just using that. We're using known dimensions to start out with.
So you're currently drawing those holes?
Yes.
Ah, okay.
Right.
Cool. If you were following along, everybody, sorry.
Right. So, and actually we're going to change the width of this to be the width of the thing, this. I'm going to copy some of this.
Oh, here, hang on. Nope, hang on.
And that is 35 millimeters wide.
Hang on. Okay, there we go. Sorry.
Right.
We got excited about pushing buttons over here. Jehu says millimeters. Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Well, so all the printers print in millimeters, and I've gotten really used to using metric for my designs. Been doing it for years. Yep.
Don't push buttons, please.
So plus metric just makes sense in my head. I know, base 10 number system, it's weird.
Actually, I prefer the base 10 number system, to be honest.
Right. So we're going to change this to 35. And actually, we're going to use some global variables here to make things easy to track, because we changed that, but we're no longer centered. We want to make sure no matter how we change this dimension, if we need to, this stays centered. So we're going to give us a global variable. So double click on it, hit equals, and we're going to call this just width.
Drew says metric system for the win. Go Canada.
Right. Type in a letter, and you'll see a little world thing show up. Right. Let's type in width, width. Click on the world. Create global variable, and it makes it 35 millimeters. Right. And you'll see a little red E, a little icon show up, and that means that it is in our equations menu right here. So anytime we change this, it will change. Anytime we change this number in our equations menu here, it will change this. So now we could use parametric relations to this. So we will say this equals width, right?
If y'all are not following along with
Divided
any of
by
these
2.
words he's thrown out, let me know, and I'll be happy to have him bring it down to my level, which would probably be way more broken down than you needed. But just in case, if any of you are not following like I'm not following, let me know and I'll have him.
It's okay. Sorry.
Beginner's guide, you're over there like, we've got equations and parametric modeling, and then we're gonna, like, what?
So I didn't start learning the equations and global variable stuff until many, many years after starting to use this software.
But this is your intro guide.
Right. Well, I didn't know it was a thing. Once I figured out it was a thing, I was like, man, I wish I'd known this when I first started. It would have really helped me, one, get better at the software faster. And I think it is a huge, huge feature in the software that is not difficult to learn if you use it simply like this. 4 o'clock. So because we've defined this dimension here, the width of this, as a global variable, we just called it width. You can name it whatever you want, but it is the width of our part. We could use that as a relationship, a mathematical relationship for other sketch entities and parts and stuff like that. Thank you. Yummy. Ooh, avocado.
Would you like to hold up the dinner that you were just brought?
I was just brought dinner. I got avocado and an alien egg ball. Nom, 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 nom.
That's actually a grape.
A grape. That's a big grape. Grapes. So I'm giving this dimension, I'm calling it width divided by 2, right? So click check.
And Drew says, it's
Check.
all good. This will give everyone a starting point. These probably won't have a ton of comments. Everyone is pretty much on the same page. Okay, as long as you're all on the same page, that's the important thing.
Right.
Once we get into a few projects, more questions will come.
Oh,
absolutely.
Sure. And I'll show you the power this has as we start getting more in depth here. Right, and we accept that dimension. So,
Come here.
take this to mama. So if we go back to our equations, and I change this to 40 millimeters, it updates this dimension with it, because this dimension I've defined to say be half of this dimension. So I don't have to change them both at the same time.
There's purple grape.
That is the basics of that. We'll go back to 35.
Grape.
Delicious.
Done. And we're going to change this to construction geometry,
Like this.
since they're reference lines. We'll when you hover over this, since you drew this as a 2-point rectangle, it recognizes that. So you hover over it, click on it, it will select all 4 lines, and I'm going to call it Options for Construction. And it makes them dotted lines.
Jay who says, thank God Ed is 3 minutes away from my house. He knows about stormtroopers and millimeters.
That's funny. Oh man, I wonder if Ed picked up his stuff. His stuff should have been delivered today. I didn't know Jay who
so
was that
sorry,
close to
everyone. That was probably really loud. I'm so sorry.
Did you drop the mic?
No, I dropped this on the mic.
You dropped an
well, not
avocado
on
the
my
mic.
arm near the
Right.
mic.
So now we need to set up. We need to reference the edge of the actual frame here, which I measured at 1.7 millimeters from the edge of the extrusion. So we'll do an offset command, 1.7, and we're going to click on that, and it did the wrong direction, so you just, on your left here, you have your parameters. Click on reverse, it switches it the other way. Click OK, and there you go. And every 20 minutes it's going to give you this save to PC thing. Just, yes, save your work. SolidWorks is not, it's not prone to crashing, but it does crash from time to time. So yeah, you want to save, but it does a really good job at recovering things too. I've had my fair share of crashes, and I've never had it not recover at least one feature or sketch or operation behind where I was. So if it crashed right now, it would recover, and this one line may not recover, but everything before it will. So just throwing that out there. And we're going to turn this into a construction line as well. All right, so this is our top reference. These are fixed points. So this is referencing fixed geometry that are part of the printer. And we're going to build our part off of that. So let's exit that sketch. And now it's visible, and you could use these as references for other things. And everything you reference from these sketches, you could change them in the first sketch, and whatever you have referenced to this sketch will follow it. So we're going to do, on the top plane, another sketch. Right, and I know this is going to seem very, very redundant, but there's a reason why I do it this way. We're going to convert entities. We're going to click on this line, this line, this line, this line, and then click OK. And we're going to extend those so they come out. So under Trim, the little arrow drop down, Extend Entities. And when you hover over the line, it will show you, give you a preview of what it extends to.
Oh no, Jay says, I flipped my work truck in June. I know all about crashes.
Oh no.
Oof.
I hope you're okay. That's unfortunate. And then when you're done, you can click on the finish here, and that sketch is done. If you don't want to finish the sketch, you can go back, or if you accidentally do that and you want more to do, you can go to the sketch, click on it, and click on Edit Sketch. All right, but that is what we want for that sketch. Excellent. And in fact, I actually want to go a little further over. So I'm going to offset this line. We're going to turn this into construction geometry because that's going to be a reference. And we're going to offset it another 5 millimeters. So offset entities. It saves the last measurement that you put in. I'm going to do 5. Click on that line. I do not want the full chain. Undo select chain. It's going the right direction. Click OK. And this is going to be our wall thickness. We're going to go back to extend. I'm so used to having my little shortcuts. All right. Right click, select. We're done with that. That is the whole sketch. Click OK, or click Exit Sketch. And now we can start going 3D with this to hopefully this isn't super confusing. If you hold down your middle mouse button, you can kind of rotate your view around or roll the view around, and it will typically roll around the middle of what you're looking at. So it is typically much easier to follow than in Fusion. Sorry about the noise. She's playing kitchen time. All right, so we're going to go 3D with this. We're going to do an extrude command. So for simple things like this, you can click on the sketch, it highlights it, and then click on the top left in your features bar. If it doesn't go, sometimes it'll get stuck in your feature manager here, or you're in the feature command window. You just go to your features tab, and then click extrude boss base. And we're going to give it some parameters. We are going to do we're going to go from our sketch plane.
Okay, Daddy says no.
No, it's okay. I'm just waiting until she's done. The sliding has got to be super noisy for everybody.
Turn my mic off.
Oh, okay. That's fine then.
Daddy says no.
It's okay.
So Baron says, is this a mindset workflow thing? No, thank you. Designing the location before the actual part, so once you do the part, it can be adapted more easily?
Yes, this is a workflow that I kind of developed over time that's made it easier for me to create geometry or parts that are fully defined, easy to edit. Having a conversation over there. Yeah. So yeah, it's more of a mindset. You could start with just making a bunch of stuff and go from there. It doesn't matter. It's you create your own workflow. This is just what I've developed that works for me. And I'm explaining on the way kind of why it works for me. And that is, I like having reference sketches, and I reference known fixed points and known geometry first, which is how I did with the two points, the lines, and the square or rectangle. We're going to extrude that. We're going to make our wall thickness 5 millimeters, so just 5. We're going to go up with it. You can switch the direction if you want by clicking the direction arrow. But since this point here is our 0, 0, 0 reference, we want to go up in the Z. We don't want to go negative. I mean, you can, it doesn't matter, but for the sake of where things are placed in space, it does actually matter. It can matter for certain applications. If you're in, some things don't like negative dimensions or negative coordinate systems. So there will be part of this that will go negative, but that's fine for what we're doing. So we're going to go 5 millimeters up. We're going to go from the sketch plane. If you click on these, you have different options on where it's going to go from. The simplest is sketch plane for from, and the simple direction is blind, but there's also a bunch of different ones you could pick.
Gilbert's got to run. He says, great tutorial so far. I've got to go take care of bedtime routine for my 7-year-old. I'll catch the rest tomorrow on the tubes. Have a great evening.
You too, Gilbert. Thanks for hanging out with us. Sorry we couldn't get more done for you, but happy to hear that or happy that you were here, and hopefully we could finish more of this so you could learn more.
Hopefully we'll see you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week. Sorry, I'm not talking well today. It's been a rough.
And then Drew says, remember when designing, everyone will have their own style and likes and dislikes.
So, like typically, I like to do all my fillets and chamfers in 3D space. I avoid sketch fillets and sketch chamfers as much as I can, but that's just my way of doing things. So for me, it simplifies the process. So we're going to finish that extrusion. Boom. And for some reason, we have started out in real view graphics. We're going to turn that off. So in our heads up display, the little monitor icon, turn off shaded and shadowed mode and turn off real view graphics because I don't like it shiny. I just want gray blocks. So now we are going to put some holes in this. So
Drew's got to run too.
Oh no, Drew.
He says, supper is ready, then off to a pack meeting at the school later. Oh, fun. I'll be working on my own spool holder for my homework. So next week he's all caught up.
Excellent.
Thanks for doing the tutorials.
No problem. I appreciate you coming by.
We'll be grading you on a curve, Drew. So make sure you do it well.
Right. Okay, so we're going to put some holes in this. So the next step, since we already have a reference sketch here and it's visible, we're going to go to our hole wizard. And when starting a hole wizard, try to not have anything highlighted because it might use the incorrect references for our holes. We're going to select those references as part of the R feature. So up here, click on Hole Wizard, and we're going to define this hole. It's going to be just a regular old hole. We're going to go ANSI metric, and we're going to give it a screw clearance. And our screw size is an M5. And we're going to change our fitment to loose, which gives us a little bit of wiggle room, leeway. Go to your Positions tab, and we're going to click on a planar face where these holes will start. And then you want to click on Sketch Points, Entities, Ends, whatever you want to be your hole reference, which for us are the points of this sketch here. Click there. Click there, and make sure our hole type is through all for the end condition. You could tell it, be like, oh, I want a blind hole that is 2 millimeters, and it would only be a 2 millimeter hole, but we want to go through all for this. All right, click OK. Invalid parameters for new. Oh, we don't want a near side countersink. Turn that off. Yep, there we go. Boom. Now we have our 2 5 millimeter clearance holes. So you don't have to do the math on how big of a hole you need for whatever. It does it for you. It's all built into the software. So now we are done with this reference sketch for now. So you could just click on one of the sketch entities and it brings up this menu, and you want to hide it. So now it is not visible. And that is the start. From here, one thing I want is it's going to sit. What view are we on? Camera 3. Okay, yeah, you're on the monitor. I think she's got picture-in-picture up. Basically, we want the bottom of that to have support come down, so that way it leans up against the vertical edge of the frame. So it's not putting a bunch of bending force on the plastic. It has 2 flat planes that it is supported against, because we're going to be printing this out of PLA, and PLA is generally kind of weak. So we're going to do that now. So we're going to click on the bottom plane, click on Sketch, and watch as it rotates. It's going to rotate the thing around to wherever it wants. There's no kind of no rhyme or reason why it does what it does. You learn to work with it. Yeah, I've not been able to figure out how to make it rotate a very specific direction every time. So we're going to do a 2-point rectangle. Reference that top corner there and just bring it down, and it will snap to this edge. Click OK. And then you left click out of it and it will unhighlight it. And we see one of these lines is blue. So we have one part that is not defined. So it can be drug around, nothing's holding it in place. The relations for this line, and this line, and these 2 points have been automatically created. And it does a pretty good job of automatically creating relations for you when you select points and stuff like that. But we do want to give that a dimension, and that is going to be our wall thickness of 5 millimeters. So we'll dimension that line, 5, done. And then that is it, exit sketch, and we're going to, with it still highlighted, extrude. And we're going to come down, say, how far down did I go? 20 millimeters? That looks like 20 millimeters, yeah. Distance, 20 millimeters. Boom. Done. So now we need to figure out this direction. Woo. Wee. What?
Nothing.
What?
Nothing.
What? All right.
You know what.
I know. Okay. So we are going to find the plane that cuts this in half, which is our right plane. Click on Sketch. Boom. And it flipped us upside down, but that's okay. If you want to, you could reorient this by holding Alt and press your arrow keys left or right. And I'm going to rotate this around 180 degrees. And now I know I just got to go to the left with all this. No big deal. So one thing I want is when the spool's hanging out here, one, it's got to be up high enough that it doesn't smack your desk or whatever, and it's got to be out far enough from the motor because I want this to be able to fit ambidextrously, right? Either left or right, however the end user wants. So I'm going to measure how far away the motor is from the edge of the frame, get a good estimate. These are measurements I should have gotten earlier, but I didn't have time, sadly. I know.
Blame the clock.
Blame the clock, yep. So I'm just going to eyeball it and give myself a little extra, right?
We definitely should have had that over here so we could have seen it.
I know, I'm silly. We're going to say 35 millimeters. Yeah. And then how high was my center line of that? I'm kind of copying that design, so we'll call that 150. All right. Well, 150 from the bottom, that would be...
We do absolutes here.
Approximately 100. Right, okay. So what I say, 35 over, 100 up. So we're gonna do ourselves a little center line here. From the inside corner, just gonna draw it up. And we're gonna give it some dimensions. I'm gonna click on that point and the inside line. And as you rotate it, well, it doesn't, this is forcing it to be a horizontal dimension, fine. This, 35. And then we're gonna dimension that point again to this line, and this is going to be 100. All right, so that defines, yeah, the center edge, sure. Okay. And we're gonna select, and I wanna keep that as just a reference sketch. I like to separate my reference sketches to my sketches I use for geometry. You don't have to, but I prefer having more sketches, just it makes my flow a little easier. Like I said, you don't have to, you can figure out your own way that works for you. So we're going to do another sketch on that same plane. Oh, right here, sketch. It's gonna flip it around, of course. So we're just gonna rotate that back around, so up is up. And yeah, okay. Let me look at that. So perfect. We're going to, how do we want to do this? How do we want to do this? We're going to measure the height of this thickness. 40 millimeters. All right. So we're going to draw a line vertically, 40 millimeters. We're going to click on the line, hold Control, and then click on this point, and it's going to give us some relation options. We're going to make it midpoint. Boom. And so it's going to attach the midpoint of that line to that, the middle of the line to that point of our reference sketch words. And it will automatically give it a vertical constraint. So it stays vertical. From here, let's see. Yeah, the bottom of that goes to there. Yeah, I'm kind of mentally copying that. I'm going to do another line, and we're just going to go from this point to the bottom point of this. Select. And then from here, we're going to go, how far over? About middle of the way? I think that's about how I did it. Yeah.
DC says, hey all, been trying to get Clipper on my X2. Cannot get the Clipper Pi to talk to the X2 so far. No go.
You have to get your MCU ID if you have Kiowa installed. It'll be under advanced, and then get MCU ID. Should I show them how to do that real quick? I'll just turn this on.
Before you do, Jehu says, good stuff. Catch you guys later. Just pulled into my driveway. Okay. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for hanging out with us while you were on your way home. We appreciate you.
Right. Thank you so much, Jehu, for hanging out with us. We appreciate it. Enjoy your evening. We'll let that start up, and then I'll show him how to do that here when that starts up. So,
well, thanks for coming back to hang out with us too, DC. We appreciate you.
For sure. Where was I? Oh, okay. So we're going to draw another line. We're going to go from the top of this to the middle of here, and it will snap to the middle of that line there. Right? And then, yeah, we'll finish that out. Line from there to there to there. And when you have a completely enclosed area, it will kind of highlight it for you or fill it in to tell you, yes, this is a fully enclosed sketch. So we're going to exit that. And if we rotate around, that sketch is in the middle, which is exactly what we want. We're going to extrude, and the direction is going to be a mid-plane. So it's going to go halfway. It's going to cut our dimension in half in both directions. And in this direction, we're going to call it width. Actually, no, we'll give it, yeah. Just hit W and it will come up with our global variable. Click on it, boom. And it ties it to that first sketch we did where I had that global variable. It ties it to that. So whenever we change that width, the whole geometry follows. So you don't have to go through and change your whole feature tree.
So DC said that he had done that, and Baron suggests heading over to the Discord for some help.
Yeah.
That way he can be more detailed on what he has done, and we can narrow down what we can all help narrow down what he may need. Perfect. Great advice, Baron. Awesome.
Yes, good advice. All right. We are moving right along here. Next, we need to go out with it. So let's do that. We're going to start a sketch on, not that point, we're going to hide that sketch. Click on that face, sketch again, that's fine. I want to rotate that so we're vertical. And you use your mouse wheel, zoom in and out, and it will zoom out of where your arrow or your cursor is or into where your cursor is, right? So you can kind of go back and forth if you need to. All right. We're going to actually do a circle. Do we do a circle? How do we want to do this? We'll do that. We'll just do the square. So if we highlight that face and we click on Convert Entities, it will automatically create a rectangle or draw lines on the outline of that face. So we don't have to go and do a rectangle, and it just does it for us, and then it ties all those lines to the edges of that face. Exit sketch, and we're going to extrude that out, and we're going to go out, not a mid-plane, we're going to go blind in that direction, and I want to go pretty far out. I like the width of this one, it's pretty good. So we're going to go out, how far did I go with that? 120 millimeters, perfect. 120, click OK, OK again. All right, look at that. Now we want to create the curved geometry. So if we click on this face, this outside face, sketch, we want rounds to be here. And so that's 35 wide and it is 40 tall. Is that how I did that? Oh, I did. Okay, perfect. I remember now. I'm not forgetting what I'm doing here. So we're going to draw a circle. First, we want to get a center line. We're just going to go from the top to the bottom here. As that reference, draw a center point circle. It will snap to the middle and drag up with it. Is that how that is? Yeah. Yeah. All right. Right click, select. Now we're going to highlight that face. We're going to convert entities. All right, and that fills all that in. And now there are several ways to go about doing this when you have a ton of different kind of enclosed spaces. You could trim out to show only what you want, or you can leave it and just select what enclosed spaces you want to use, and that's what I'm going to do here, just to keep it simple. Exit sketch, and then we're going to do an extruded cut. Since I had nothing highlighted, I'm just going to select one of the entities of that sketch, and then clear under selected contours, clear selections, and we're just going to select where we're going to cut. So if you hover your mouse over it, will highlight this contour, that contour, that contour, and that contour. And we're going to direction one. We're going to go, how do I want to do this? I don't have a surface to use. I don't have offset. Yeah, we'll just go blind. It's 120 millimeters. I want 5 millimeters less, so we're just going to go 115 to give us some extra meat on the edge there. Actually, no, we'll go the full 120. We'll go the full 120. Why not? All right, click OK. And there is our cut out. Now, this is we'll fix that here, but we want this lip, right? So let's click on this face again, sketch, rotate that around if you want, just to make it visually easier. Click on this line, at that point, that line there. I'm going to convert entities, and then we're going to offset that a height of, I don't know, 5 millimeters, 4, we'll go 4, why not? And that offsets that upward. Check. Convert entities again, click on that line, click on that line. You could right click, and that is the same thing, like if, for you AutoCAD users, you'll understand that. That's how you finish the sketch. And then we're going to do some smart trimming or power trim. And if you click away, hold and drag, you see this little line that it's drawing? Every sketch entity that you cross that line will get erased up to the next line. So like that, like that, like that, and like that. Boom. We're going to exit the sketch with it still highlighted, extrude. And we do not want it to go 120 millimeters in that direction. We will go 4 millimeters in that direction. Excellent. Perfect. So now we're going to do the same thing on this side. Select that face, click on sketch, and we're going to rotate our view around, and we're going to click on this face here, and it's going to highlight that contour. Click on convert entities, and it duplicates that contour onto this plane. We're going to exit the sketch, extrude, 4 millimeters in that direction, that's what we want, check, and we have that lip. We do need to get rid of this here, so that's easy as selecting it, sketch, convert entities, so click on that face, same thing, click on that face, convert entities, it adds those two sketches, exit again, and then extruded cut, and it's going to cut through those. So they're no longer there. Bam. And that is the basic geometry of it so far. We do need to add some clearance here for that other hole because it's been covered up by this there. So we're going to do that next. We're going to do it from this side. Click on that face, sketch, and we want a 5 millimeter wall dimension, right? So click on that face, convert entities. Convert entities is my favorite command in sketches because it's just a very quick way of referencing the geometry around you. Offset, we'll go 5. Select these 3 lines, reverse it. She's having a good old time. Done. Okay. And then these 3 lines, are original lines. If you click on one, hold Control, click on the next ones, it highlights them all. And we're going to convert those to construction geometry. All right, and then same with that line. And then we're going to draw a solid line from that point to that point. Let's close that off, exit sketch, and we're going to extruded cut, and we're going to go from surface, right? So it just uses the sketch on this surface, but it's cutting the extrusion from the top surface here. And direction through all, boom. And now we have our clearance and a nice little support rib. And actually we want to bring that out a little bit to give it a little bit more support. This can be done, I would do this with a fillet. So fillet command, we're just going to click on this edge here. Now we're going to use our selection filter. I'll show you how a selection filter works, because you can click on a face, you can click on edges, all sorts of things. And sometimes when you're looking at a bunch of different things, it could be hard to click on exactly what you want. So on our selection filter, filter edges. So now it cannot highlight a face. It can only highlight edges. So we're going to click on that edge. And apparently, oh, we want full preview, done. And we're going to click on that edge as well. And I want that to be, say, 20 millimeters, 25. This is just an eyeballing thing. How did I do it on there? Oh, I did way less than that. Well, that's fine. Once your preview is how you want it, click the check button and it finishes that. Ooh, that looks good. Now one thing we got to think about is we're going to print this in probably this orientation. So that's a pretty solid overhang there. I think tree supports would be the best bet for it. It won't be that intrusive. And that's not too bad. A lot of times when you're designing things, have a little bit of a design intent. So figure out what material are you gonna print it out of, and then how that print is going to be oriented in your printer. And you want to do the best you can to avoid support material when possible. And that depends on your material, on what actually you're making it out of. So if I were to do this out of ABS, I would really, really do the best I can to just completely avoid having support material. But with things like PETG and PLA, they tend to support a little bit better. So it's no big deal. Or if you have like a Bamboo Lab that could switch materials, you could have a support material specific, and that makes things really nice and easy for that. But for this, I'll be printing this probably out of PLA. So a little tree support there, no big deal. We do want to remove our selection filter here. So just click on that again and we're back. So this is just our basic geometry of it, right? We're doing pretty good. Now we want to add some finishing touches, because this is cool, but it's kind of ugly. It's got sharp edges. We want to add some radiuses or some fillets and some chamfers. The biggest thing is you want, where you want fillets on inside edges like this, because those are stress points. And since this is technically somewhat of a functional part, it's going to hold, a kilogram, maybe a little bit more on the edge. We don't want that stress being put in any of these areas. We want that stress to be kind of spread out. So we're going to do some filleting here. And I typically like to save fillets and chamfers for last, because if I have to change something, it's easier to be able to roll back away from those fillets, change what I need to change, and then bring them back in. So go back to, we're going to go to fillet, and we're going to give all these, we'll say 3 millimeter radius fillets. Click on the edges we want. I'll go back to I love my selection filter. All right. And we could even go a little bit more aggressive, say 5 millimeters. Yeah, that looks nice. Right, and I could add that to here, but I want to separate it. Right, fillet again, click on that edge. We're going to make that a much deeper, or much bigger fillet. We'll go 15. 20, yeah, all right. That's looking nice. We will do inside here with like a 2 millimeter fillet.
THRL says, I love the sketch window. I wish every 3D app had similar, because importing vector files as
a block or something like
splines is not an ideal workflow.
No.
When I first used the sketches in Fusion, it was a life changer.
Yes, and Autodesk definitely has sketching is done very well on Autodesk software because they started out with 2D stuff, and so they've got a leg up on the competition when it comes to sketching. SolidWorks has gotten significantly better in the last 10 years. Before, sketching in an Autodesk product was way more intuitive. They've done a really good job at making it more competitive, and now I would say it's on par. So we have, yep. We have those edges. We're going to do the inside of these edges here. Yep, and it selected the whole thing. Click OK. Yeah, that's looking pretty. Continuing on with the fillet adventure, we're going to do that. In fact, I want to go a little bigger with that. We're going to go 10. Oh, it doesn't like that. That's okay. We're going to accept anyway. It's going to give us an error. I don't care. Oh, it won't actually let it finish. Fine. We're going to roll this back. And we're going to fillet this before the rest for all that. So go back again, 10 millimeters. Let's see if we'll let it. There we go. How about a little bit more? Can I go 15? 20. Yeah. And then we'll bring that back. That looks nice. So part of the whole parametric workflow is just order of operations. I realized I wanted this edge radiused before this edge. And if I'd done this one first, it wouldn't let me it wouldn't let me do it in the order I wanted. So I had to change my process just a little bit.
Baron's got to run to take care of Dad. He says I'll catch up on the rerun later this evening.
All right, Baron. We should be done.
Thanks as always for hanging out with us, Baron. We appreciate you. You've become definitely one of our
Baron is definitely a regular. He's an OG. One of
our good fans.
Yeah.
Always hanging out with us. He says good show as usual. Good night.
Good night, Baron. If we ever have an EP3D con, you will get a VIP badge.
VIP badge. VIP to Crazy Land, sure.
Crazy Land. All right. And we're going to continue this. We're going to do another fillet. And we're going to do these top edges. Oh, that's too much. We're going to go 2. Yeah, 2 is enough. Half of our width. Same with this. Oh, yeah, that's looking nice. And we'll do this one as well. All right. I can hear her. We're going to select these. Nice thing is if you get this little flyout and it gives you different options, if you don't want to select the whole bunch, like, oh, all that looks good. Actually, that does look good. So between right feature and all those edges, so boom, it highlights all that for me. Ooh, boy, that looks nice. Actually, I don't want to do that. That was a bad idea. Cancel. Some edges I didn't want. Fillet that edge. 2, that edge, that edge, that edge, and that edge. Check. Typically I like fillets more than chamfers, but anywhere that's going to be in contact with the build plate, I like a chamfer because the first part of a fillet is just too much of an overhang, and either you support it, which I don't want to do because it looks terrible, or you have a few layers of an unsupported overhang that look terrible. So if you have a 45-degree chamfer, most printers should be able to print that and be fine. So we're going to switch over to our chamfer tool, and we're going to give it a let's try 1 millimeter chamfer. See, yeah, that looks nice. And we'll match that on this side, and it goes all the way around. Yeah. Same here, and here, and here. And if you know you're going to do the whole thing, so if I clear this, if you're going to do all of these edges, you could just select, take our selection filter off, select the face, and if it can, it will give you your chamfer all the way around, but it just says no, so we got to go back to our edges. There we go. All right, all those faces. All those are edges, not faces. All right, is that everything? It may not, oh, it did like that. do those. Just, we'll make this look nice and pretty. And I will be sharing this STL file on my website. When I'm all said and done, I'm going to print it, test fit it, and all that stuff first. So if you don't have Solidworks, you don't want to have to draw this, because you could do all of this in Fusion. A lot of the process is the same, just slightly different workflow. If you want to follow along in Fusion, have at it, have fun, or in Tinkercad or Onshape or whatever CAD software you want to use. You can follow along with the measurements and the concepts, or if you have SolidWorks, follow along exactly, and then print it yourself, and then you'll have your first print that you've drawn if you've not done this before. So that's all my edges I want with those chamfers. All right, we're getting there, everyone. I do want to fill it inside here. 2mm, click on that edge. Boom, and then one more chamfer for our screw holes, 0.5mm. And we are going to select this, selection filter, this face and that face. Okay, now, one small issue is if we put a screw here, obviously we have this radius that's in the way, so we need to get rid of that. So we're gonna actually roll back that chamfer. So down here, just roll that up, right? I know I haven't saved it, go away. Click on this face and we're gonna do a sketch. And we're going to do a circle. And if I use a washer, how big is a washer? How big is a 5mm washer? 10mm, 9mm? We'll go 9.
My guess would have been 5mm. That's
A washer for a 5mm screw. Actually, that doesn't seem big enough. That doesn't seem big enough at all. Let's go 12. Yeah, 12 is fine. If I had a washer, I would measure, but I don't have a washer for that handy. Exit sketch, extruded cut. We want to go the other way. All right, and that just gives us some clearance away from that radius for a screw and washer. And then we could roll forward that chamfer, done. Now, I have these holes set to a loose fit, so I would recommend using a washer. That way you have more bite on the plastic for your fastener. And because it's going to be printed in this, roll it around, in this orientation, these holes will naturally become kind of slotted. So you do have some left and right adjustment if need be. Because obviously the build tolerances on these machines aren't perfect. So that 1.7mm from the edge of the extrusion to the edge of the case may be kind of dynamic depending on your machine. I imagine there could be a good 0.5 millimeter plus variance between all the machines. So having a loose fitting clearance hole that will naturally have a little bit of a slot to it because of the nature of the print orientation, it gives you some clearance and leeway that you'll be okay. And that is our spool holder, right? That looks pretty good. Yeah, so now we need to save it. We're gonna save as, you could save to the cloud. I like saving to the PC. We're gonna go to my Google Drive here, SolidWorks, Sidewinder X2 and Genius Pro, add a new folder. We're gonna call this spool holder and guides. Spoiler alert, guides are next week. Open that up, we're just gonna name this spool holder. Boom. And now we wanna save it as something that a slicer can read. Now, I have become a huge fan of just using step files. One, you could edit them easily with any CAD software, and your slicer can read them. And I've noticed that when using step files instead of STL files, print times are decreased slightly. I'm not sure why. I mean, it's not much. I mean, a couple percentage points maybe, but I noticed that. But STL files, they're a pain. They're big, so they're hard to transfer. If you want to email somebody an STL file, this could be bigger than what your email will allow. Step files are much smaller. And in a step file, it saves things like material properties and appearances and stuff like that if you had multiple appearances. We can give it a material property if we want, but I'm not going to. So we're just gonna file save as new in our drop down step, and we want to pick AP214. That is the most advanced step file to date. Just pick that, give it the same name, click save, and now we have a step file that a slicer can read. So if we go to Orca Slicer, boom, 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 open that up. You know what? I might as well do that on orange PETG. Why not? Since it's on there.
I don't think we've got time to print it, honey. You got 10 minutes-ish.
Oh, that's true. This will probably take, we'll see how long it takes to print.
Okay.
How's the peanut gallery doing?
Quiet?
Quiet? Oh no. I've bored them to death. I've bored you to death. Right. Open.
Complete the 5th.
Complete a 5th. Google Drive, My Drive, SolidWorks. And if you start doing this stuff, get organized. Because if you're not organized, you can lose things, and that's not fun.
You were the funniest person to say get organized.
I know, I'm the worst. I'm trying to get better. Spool holder and guides, spool holder, step file. Boom. Now, this is not the right orientation for the printer because I printed it Z up. Because that is Z up in the real space. And that's just for assembly purposes, for future reference. But this is nice because you could say lay flat on face, boom. Look at that. Should I do the blue PLA because it would match, huh?
I think you should figure out what time.
How long
it's gonna, I bet you it's going to take longer than
15 minutes? Oh yeah,
12
it's going to
minutes
take
to
probably
print.
2 hours, if not more. We'll just pick...
Well, we don't want to go in for 2 hours.
No. I'm just going to see how long it's going to take. We'll do PLA, and we're going to do standard. I don't have a strength profile, do I? Whatever. Strength. For this, I would probably go like 4 walls, 4 tops and bottoms, cubic, 20%. Support, I would go tree auto. Tree auto on build plate only. Yeah. Others. There are some sharp corners and edges that would be very prone to warping. So I would give this a brim. I would do an outer brim only, and I like my brims to be 10 millimeters. We don't need a skirt. All right. If we slice that, that says it is going to take 3 hours and 15 minutes on my X2, which actually isn't too bad. And it shows you, hey, there's our tree support. That is not that bad. I could live with that. I'm not going to print this right now, but I will save this as a 3MF file. Save project as. I could hear her in the background. Oh, it's already got it. Spoolholder.3MF, done. Good. Is it in the right spot? Should have. Yep. Okay, cool. So now I can just go back to this. It's already sliced. No, I don't want to replace it. Cancel. All right. So that is part 1 of the beginner's guide to SolidWorks. Hopefully you all were able to follow what I had going on. My goal was to get this model done in our basically 2-hour window.
Has anybody left here?
Has anybody left?
Bueller?
That's another thing. Is there anybody in there? It should tell you. Did they all leave? Are we doing this solo? Are we alone?
Do you want me to tell you?
Sure.
No, you're not alone.
Huh?
You're not alone.
Okay, good.
I'm here.
Oh, that's sweet. Be like one of those those early days of Mr. Beast where you just go on Twitch and find a random streamer with 0 viewers and be like, oh, here's $100,000. Like, holy
You
cow.
might be hoping that happens, but doubt that's going to happen to you.
Doubt that's going to happen, yeah. So, perfect. And the nice thing is this should work on a Sidewinder X1 as well. It's nearly identical.
Charles says we are here. He's
Yeah, hey, you're here, you're with us. You are a trooper, man. Because spending 2 hours with us is a long time. I will say
Especially
that.
the way we got started.
Yeah, especially, yeah, it took us a half an hour to get started. Hey, Girly Goo.
DC says you're not alone.
Excellent. Hopefully what I've demonstrated here wasn't too hard to follow, and it was still
He's finishing up.
beginner friendly. Oh, I will demonstrate though, that first global variable that we added. I will show you that power right now. Go to our equations, that is still there. You can help me, yeah. Okay, I'm gonna change this number, kiddo. We're gonna say, I want that to be wider, just because. We're gonna go 50. All right, press this key here, kiddo. That big long key, yeah. Press it, boom. It changes, rebuild. Let's see, feature sketch 11 has a warning which may cause subsequent features to fail. Continue. Yeah, this can happen. That's a bit wide. Yeah, it didn't like that, did it? We're gonna go back to, well, let's try 40. 50 is too much. Sometimes you could really go off the rails with things that just aren't geometrically correct. Oh, it doesn't like it. So I've done something wrong, I think. What is going on here? Why is it? I don't know.
Can you just undo? Can you just go back?
Yeah, I
can.
can.
Can you just tell it, never mind, forget that?
There. It didn't want to go any bigger. There's something in there that is pretty stuck with that 35 millimeter dimension, which is, well, terrible. Terrible way to demonstrate that power, Matthew, because you totally boned that one up. So I'll have to go mess with it and figure out what it is that I did and show you all next week. What is causing that? She wants me to do it now?
No, she's saying
actually,
she's done.
I'm curious.
You've got 7 minutes.
Oh, I know.
Do you know?
Continue, I don't care. Okay.
He just said he doesn't care.
I don't care about the errors. So right here it's telling me this is the first one.
Hey, don't do that, please.
Something with this sketch is not happy. Oh, I think it's just because it's going to mess with this radius and it'll create some undesirable geometry. Oh, edge, there we go. On edge, it loses that relation. Yeah, so that's fine. We're gonna go back to 35 because that's where we wanted it. So yes, some of this whole parametric stuff, having global variables, it will be dependent on other features. Rebuild, thank you. And if you change geometry too much in one direction or the other, and you have other features that are referenced and dependent on the original geometry, it may break that geometry because it's out of the realm of what's possible. So things to think about. I wasn't expecting to have to change the width of this much more than a couple millimeters. So experiment with it, see what you can get away with and what you can't.
Right now.
Obviously, I could go through and fix all those relations that are broken. But the idea is to not have to do that. So yeah, I'll save that, and that is that. From here, I think we're going to call it, though. It's been a long 2 hours. Our little lady here is probably ready to play. She's getting antsy. My producer wife here is getting ready to play. She's getting antsy. She just gave me this look. Like, dude, you're boring. This is the worst stream ever. The fakest smile ever. Okay, everyone. Well, for those of you who came and stuck around, and those of you who came and left, we appreciate your time and company and hanging out with us today. Next week we will probably continue on with these SolidWorks tutorials and get on with the actual guides for our filament. And I will print this out sometime this week and test fit it to make sure that it works. And if it does fit well, I'll upload it to the website as the first part of the spool holder and guide setup that I want to do. So everyone, thank you for sticking around. Thank you for watching. We got to get going. Yeah, happy 3D printing, and we'll see you all later. Bye-bye.